Testing microphone, 1, 2, 3. And we'll see you shortly. Bye-bye. Hello and welcome to December's meeting for GEG Iowa. If this is your first time joining us, thank you. Our website is at the bottom of the screen. It is a bit.ly short link, so it's bit.ly/GEG-Iowa. The GEG and I of Iowa are capitalized. If you go to our website, you can find out more about the group, and you can find out every way that you can connect with us. So the website, if I, one second. If I go to the website, there are three main tabs. Actually, there should be a better screen I can give you guys for that, maybe. There we go. Okay, so if you go to our website, the home screen just has basic information about us as a group, and my camera is blurry right now. That did not help. Really? So we've got our home tab, our events tab, and our learn more. Our events will tell you when we are meeting next, and it has a link to our live feed and the Google Doc agenda, which is what we'll be looking at today. It's really bothering me that my camera is messed up. I know there is some kind of way to do it, isn't it? Like if you have a random object, the only thing I can find first. Nah. Okay, there we go. That maybe actually worked. Anyway, so the events tab has information about our upcoming meetings. It has a link to the schedule of meetings from here on out, and then has information about the group and about GEG in general. GEG is a international educational network, PLN, for educators to connect about the educational technology tools they are using in their classroom. And so if you go to our website, which I've put the website on the screen again, and then from our website you click on events, you can get to our agenda for today on our upcoming meetings section. So if you open the agenda, I'll explain this real quick. It's pretty simple. This is the same Google Doc agenda throughout the entire school year, and it has all of the tools and tips we have talked about this school year, plus you can access last year's agendas and the year before that. And so that's a little bit about it. At the very top, there's a clickable table of contents. The very first section is where you can learn more about the group. And then there's a little bit about me. And then we will go into, it's usually 3 to 4 different tools or hacks that I share each session. And then if there is anyone on live that wants to share a semi-related resource while we are on live, then they can use the audience show and tell, and then we will end the session talking about when we'll be meeting next. As a group, we try to meet once a month. It's usually the third Wednesday of every month, and it just really depends on my schedule on whether I can make it work. Before we dive into today's resources that I'm going to be talking about, let's talk about who I am. So my name is Whitney Bacon. I am the leader of GEG Iowa. I have run GEG Iowa for about a year and a half, and I am the educational technology specialist for the Iowa Educational Services for the Blind and Visually Impaired. In my role as the ed tech specialist, I work with our staff on so many different technologies and try to make sure everything's accessible for some of our staff who are blind or visually impaired. Of course, my camera is blurring again. It seemed to work when I did. Let's try this. Okay, hopefully my camera cooperates now. Okay, so anyway, I have been in that position for a little over 3.5 years, and I have been in teaching for a little over 10 years. So I really like my current job. I have lots of free reign to explore pretty much every single possible technology out there. I do a lot of testing for our staff and then training our staff on how to use things. I'm always trying to find free or inexpensive alternatives to certain tools if they find out it's no longer in the budget kind of thing. So I get exposed to a lot of different resources. So if you go to the section about today's agenda, today I am going to be talking about one of my favorite topics, which is Google Sheets. If any of you who are on are any of my colleagues, I'm sure they know that I love Google Sheets. I use Google Sheets for lots of stuff and just spreadsheets in general. I am a spreadsheet nerd. And so today will be the first in a series of Google Sheets meetings. And today I'm going to be talking about my favorite or my top keyboard shortcuts. Next time I'm going to talk about the different tools in Google Sheets that are worth checking out and are often overlooked. And then we'll kind of go from there. If you look at last month's agenda, it was very much related to Google Sheets. It was actually a little even more high level. It was talking about Google App Scripts, which maybe I dived in a little too deep, but that is okay. You might as well give you guys a little bit of a, might as well dive right in. Okay, so let's talk about some overlooked spreadsheet keyboard shortcuts that a lot of people do not realize that they exist. To do that though, I am going to open Google Sheets, which one I didn't include on here, it's because it's not a shortcut, is that you can actually create a brand new sheet at any point by doing sheets.new. I'm sure a lot of you guys are aware of that. Okay, I'm going to just get rid of some of this stuff. Okie dokie. So let's just zoom in a little bit. Okay, so I have a multitude of different ones for you guys today, but I kind of grouped them into three main sub things. So let's talk about two different menus that are worth knowing about and the keyboard shortcuts that will activate them. So if there is one keyboard shortcut that you guys should be aware of, it's this first one, because if you know the shortcuts to open the keyboard shortcut menu, then you can actually figure out all the other shortcuts for Google Sheets. And one other thing I should mention about this before diving into each of my top shortcuts today, there's a lot of shortcuts that I use all the time and I am not including on here, like Control P, or Control V and Control copy paste, Control Z to undo, redo, because specifically I'm talking about ones that are really good for spreadsheet functionality. So this first one, if you do Control and the /, it's going to pull open a menu. And then let me zoom in for you guys a little bit. Okay, for some reason there we go. Okay, so yeah, if you do Control / it's going to pull up this searchable dialog box that has all shortcuts for Google Sheets. Nice thing about Google Sheets is that you don't have to enable anything. However, if you do this first option that will show up, enable compatible spreadsheet shortcuts, then there are other shortcuts that will work in tandem with the basic list in here. So that is worth checking out. Oops, I accidentally clicked it. Okay. So, and the really cool thing about this is, like I was saying, of like, if I don't know what one of the shortcuts are, I can try looking for it. So say I don't know the shortcut to like add conditional formatting. So I'm going to try conditional, and then it is by keyword. So the fact that that didn't come up tells me that there is not a specific keyboard shortcut tied to specifically that feature. Instead, I'm going to try format, because there is one for format menu. So that will open the format menu button. And so there are two different options. And I think the different options are just dependent on, oh yeah, that some of these will give you additional options instead of just the one or two. Okay, so we can activate the format menu with Alt-Shift-O or Alt-O or Control-1. So I'm going to try any one of those. And maybe before we do that, we should have something to actually like include. So let's do test data. This is our heading. Okay. Okie dokie. So I'm going to actually use Control A, and then let's see, it was, what was it? It was Alt Shift, was it O? Nice. Okay. So Alt Shift O activated format, and then it lets me go through all these different options in this menu. May not seem like something that is all that useful, but it is highly useful in my opinion. 1 second here. I just thought of something that I should definitely include with features next time. The freeze. Okay. Okay, so if I bring up the keyboard menu again, it might also just be helpful to kind of just like anytime you're not sure, just pull it up and look and see what the various ones are within here. A lot of these ones will function in things outside of spreadsheets, like align left, Control Shift L, or align center, but it is a great way to learn various keyboards. And there, like, this menu is actually available in all of the Google products, but it's worth talking about while we're in Google Sheets. So like in Google Docs, I can open it with Control / and the cool thing about it is that there are going to be different shortcuts in here than there are in the Google Sheets one, because there are different what do you call it? There are different there are different keyboard shortcuts depending on the different thing that you're using. So really worth checking that one out. So next we can take a look at our next one on the list, which is the Tool Finder menu. This shortcut is really similar and very close to the keyboard shortcut, but this one will actually search all of these. So say I have one of the cells selected and I do Alt / it is ready to go. So I'm saying now I am looking for conditional formatting. There we go. That is helpful. Okay, and so then it activated it for me immediately. Say I instead, oh, I need to get rid of that. I didn't mean to actually truly activate it. Okay, so now let's try Alt /. It's also nice that it will pull up anything that you recently activated. Say in here, I want to look for notifications. I can do that. Say I just want to like look at the toolbar. Oh, maybe can't do it like that. Say I want to do strike through. It's helpful if you don't know the keyboard shortcut again. It's helpful that you can find it that way, in addition to finding these things on the this menu, I guess. I don't know what they call this specific menu versus this toolbar. So that is the tool finder menu. We can do one more example of this. Say I want to maybe do data validation. Yeah, the only downside to this is that you have to know the word of it. I don't think if say instead data validation, it was I don't know. How about colors? Okay, that's interesting. So I could actually do show alternating colors. I don't know what that did. Oh, you can actually toggle off whether you want the alternating colors to show or not. Very cool. But an interesting one, if you use formulas, you can tell it to show all formulas, which I don't have any formulas in this spreadsheet example, but an interesting one to check out. Okay, so let's talk about our third one, which is actually part of this next section. So if I have lots of data, which of course I don't have lots of data, how about we're gonna go into Gemini and we're gonna generate a lot of data. Give me sample spreadsheet data. Let's do 100 lines of it because I just want to copy and paste this. Okay, let's hope this is gonna work. No. Okay. How about, I don't know how to get it so that I don't that it copies per column. Okay, give me it by column. How about generate a column of dates? Yeah, this isn't very helpful, but I guess something I could use example from some of my personal stuff. So let's see, if I open a spreadsheet, it's owned by me. I could do probably my wedding spreadsheet, or actually, let's just use our GEG Iowa one. Okay, so, oh, sorry, I didn't actually display what the shortcut is to hide selected. This works for columns or rows. So say I have just this cell selected and I want to hide that entire row. I can very quickly do Control Alt 0, and that is a 0, not a what did I say? Oh yeah, it's a 0, not an O. Okay, so that one, since I didn't actually tell it to either hide or it chose to hide the column. This is easiest if you are trying to hide the entire row. You can't hide one cell. So say I want to hide column F, I can do Control Alt 0, and you will notice that this goes from E to G. Maybe if we go one step closer. so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so yeah, if you notice, if I unhide this now, I've got data from A to G, and I have F selected. And so if I do Control Alt 0, then it is hiding it. And then there is a slight variation on if you actually want to delete that entire row or column that is currently selected, then instead of Control Alt 0, you do Control Alt minus. And I will do this because I'm just going to undo. So I'll do Control Alt minus. And so now you will notice that attendance is now F because I deleted the column that previously was in between here. So I'll just do Control Z to bring it back. And this does work for like consecutive, like multiple rows and columns. So, and they don't have to technically be right next to each other. I will show you both examples. So say I want to hide rows 3 through 5. So right now I'm going to hide them. Control Alt 0. So you will notice that this goes from 2 to 6. So I will bring that back up. And then say I instead want to delete them. So I'm going to delete rows that have the October stuff through the December. So it's going to go from July to January. So we're going to do Control Alt minus to delete them. So now they're gone. Let me bring them back. I can do the same thing with, like, say I want to hide B through E. Oops, I actually just deleted them. That is the one thing I will warn about, that you want to learn the difference or just learn to catch which one you have done and then just pause, and then you can always do Control Z, because that's what just happened here. I accidentally deleted these columns when I just wanted to hide them. So hiding is Control Alt 0. And then if I expand it again, Control Alt minus is delete. The easiest way I think of it is minus, you are deleting it, minus cutting it, kind of thing. And then I also mentioned that they don't have to be, like right now I've shown you guys that they could be right next to each other, but I could technically use a different overlooked keyboard shortcut that is not specific to spreadsheets. But if I just hold Control and then I highlight, say I'm going to highlight A, C, and G, and then I want to hide those. Oh, again, I just did it. Say I want to hide them with Control Alt 0. Okay, those are hidden. I can unhide them. And then now I want to delete them. We'll delete 4 of these. There we go. And I can bring them back. I'm just bringing them back with Control Z. Same thing, I could do say I want to delete rows 2, 5, and 8. Control Alt minus to delete them. I can do Control Z to bring them back, and Control Alt 0 to hide them. So those are real simple ones, but they are great. They are especially great when you have lots and lots of rows of data. I work with lots and lots of rows of data. So they are extremely worth checking out. Okie dokie. Let's talk about our next one. So we're going to, now I'm way too zoomed in. Now we're going to talk about quick navigation. So I've got 3 for this, and then we can delete this. We don't need this example anymore. Okay, so quick navigation, and let me zoom out just a tad for you guys. Alrighty, quick navigation. I've got 3 of these to show you guys. So the first one is Control Home. So you'll hit Control first and then Home. Like you gotta hold Control and then tap Home. And no matter where you are in a spreadsheet, it will take you to the very first cell that has data in it. So right now, I'm in F10. If I do control home, it's going to take me to, it's actually going to be the first row under the header. So it's going to assume anything under a frozen row is your header. So it took me to A2, and this works for like every spreadsheet. So like if I should really find a spreadsheet that has lots in it. So one sec, let me pull up one so you can kind of see the advantage of it. Okay, we can do the pack list. That's nothing too confidential. Okay, so say we're in, I'm gonna be in D72, and then I'm gonna hit Control Home, and that takes me to A2, right under my frozen header. So then another quick, easy one with that is Control End will put you at the end of it. Who would have guessed, you know? So right now I'm at the top. I'm going to do Control End, and that will put me at the end of my range. And notice where it put me right now. It put me in E131, which is actually empty, but it's going to put it at essentially the last cell in the active rows and columns. And so because I have stuff in 131, it's putting it at the very end. I think if I had a bunch of blank rows beneath this, I'm not actually sure. We're going to find out. Let's try Control Home, or sorry, we're going to do Control End. Okay, so it does go all the way to the bottom here. And I think that's only because I've got conditional, or I've got data validation with these drop downs. But say we, no, I was going to say, I think all of these have that. But that's okay. So right now I'm actually going to do the delete because I don't need these. Control Alt minus to delete those rows. Okay, so yeah, Control Home. So I can use this example. So Control Home, we go Control Home, we get up there, Control End to get to the end, which really is only useful when you've got lots and lots of stuff. And instead of you going manually to the bottom, I use this the most when I'm dealing with like data, like databases. So whether it's student, various stuff with students, or it's really nice and really quick and easy to do that. And then the last one I'm going to mention today is another quick navigation, because these are, I'm just talking about 3 that are worth finding out about. And so right now, if I do Control either up arrow or down arrow, it's going to take me to the next region area that is blank. So right now, because I'm in a blank, if I do Control up, it's just going to take me up once. So this is not the best spot for it. But if I go over a column and do Control up, it's going to take me to row 107, because I assume that means row 106 is empty. Yeah, and so if I do it again, it then skips that empty spot. So it's essentially, it's skipping the blanks. If I do it again, it's going to put it at, it's wherever all my little, what do you call it, subheadings are. If I do it again, it's going to put me up further again. So it's really helpful to like quickly jump through various parts of a long spreadsheet. Same thing with Control down. So if I go in this column, Control down, it's just helping me go through these different groups, because it's recognizing that blanks are generally used, like a row that is blank is generally used to help you divide your data. So with like this one, it's all like, it's not going to really do anything besides just go to the very bottom for me of that row. But it's extremely useful, because I know a lot of people will instead just go up arrow, but using Control arrow is very useful for that. So let us look at where we're at now. Okie dokie. So, the keyboard shortcuts that I have discussed today are, like, I didn't want to take too long with them, and so generally I always try to end each session after I have shared my favorite resources or hacks for the month. I always try to do some kind of game or bonus, like a game enrichment activity, a really cool website that I have found recently. Doesn't always necessarily have to be education based, but oftentimes these games are great for, you've got 10, 15 minutes at the end of the day, and you're just trying to keep the children sane before they can leave for the day. And so the one I have here is called the Holiday Movie Quote Match, and it is actually a game that was shared with me and designed by a fellow educator in Iowa, and they designed it with Canva AI, and so I can show you what that is after we play it a couple times. Essentially, it's just a quiz game that was designed, and it is like independent. Like, you're not sending this to a whole class and competing against each other. It's just a link. So if you follow that link, you guys can compete against me kind of on your own. But essentially all I do is every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings. And so I believe this was designed using Canva AI by simply the educator asking Canva AI to generate a 15-question quiz with movie quotes of Christmas movies or holiday movies. So the best way to spread Christmas cheer is singing loud for all to hear. That is clearly Elf. Keep the change, you filthy animal. I believe that is Home Alone. I will say, you guys should try to beat my 14 out of 15, because I've played this before when I first heard about it. Seeing is believing. Sometimes the most real things in the world are the things we can't see. I think this is the one I got wrong, or I might have just guessed and got it right, because I think it's either Miracle on 34th Street or the Polar Express. I think it's Polar Express. Nice. God bless us, everyone. It's like, I feel like that's just a line in general from A Christmas Carol, but I feel like they also say it in the Muppet Christmas Carol. But also, is that in... I don't remember. Maybe I got this one wrong. Let's go with Muppet. No! Okay, it's Christmas Carol. I would wager that the Muppet Christmas Carol also says that. I never thought it was such a bad little tree. It's not bad at all. Maybe it just needs a little love. It's Charlie Brown Christmas. Maybe Christmas doesn't come from a store. I know that one immediately. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. You'll shoot your eye out. That's A Christmas Story. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. That is The Night Before Christmas. Which, is there even a movie of that? But Cotton-headed niggy-muggins. Okay. Season of Perpetual Hope. Unfortunately, I think I've never seen it, but I think I remember from the last time I got it right. Faith is believing in things when common sense tells you not to. I'm going to guess this one's... Yes, Miracle on 34th Street. Christmas Eve, and we were going to celebrate being young and being alive. Woo! I have not seen A Triple Dog Dare yet. I think that is A Christmas Story, right before the one brother or friend puts his tongue on the, what you call it? That's the Grinch again. Woohoo! So yeah, I wonder if I got the same question wrong. So yeah, that is just a cute little bonus, a little fun bonus. At this point, usually after I've gone through my top resources for the month, then I will check to see if there are any new comments with people sharing theirs. I do not think there are tonight. So with that in mind, let's instead just look at when our next 2 meetings are, and we will end it early for the night. And so we're going to be meeting next on January 21st in 2026. And then after that, we'll do February 18th. The next time I'm going to be continuing with more, Google Drive stuff. Here, one sec. Or not Google Drive, Google Sheet stuff. And I will be talking about some of my favorite Google Sheet features that are kind of overlooked. So it's just stuff that you can do. And because I have had to really learn how to make everything accessible to the blind, all of those features, I will also tell you what the keyboard shortcuts are for all of them, so you can learn how to do them. The ones that are just, again, often overlooked. Beyond that, we're going to end it for the night. I hope to see you guys next on January 21st. Otherwise, thank you guys, and